You probably know this by now, but I'm John Atack,
I'm still some ATAC
so far.
so far.
What do you do if somebody you know joins an authoritarian cult or becomes involved in an authoritarian relationship? And I'm going to offer some simple advice based upon years of reflection. And that is, you don't bully them. You don't tell them how stupid they are. You don't tell them how great you are.
Or how brainwashed they are.
How brainwashed they are. Brainwashed is, I had this situation where I was asked to talk to a young man who'd flown back from the United States to tell his parents why he was going to dedicate the next billion years of his life to a particular authoritarian group. And his father opened the conversation by saying, "You looked so brainwashed when you got off the plane." And it took us 4 hours, my friend Bonnie Woods and I, it took us 4 hours to talk to this young man so that he would even talk to us after this astonishingly stupid introduction. But people do it. They get angry. They shout at you. They wonder why you could have been so half-witted as to do this. And then they wonder why you don't want to talk to them. So here's a tip. Stay friendly. Keep away from arguing facts, because I must say, in my experience of helping people to talk to people who are involved with so-called cult groups, dangerous cult groups, that I didn't meet many people who were willing to find out what the facts were before they were going to tell this person what was wrong about them. And I used to frequently say, read these two books, written, these two Scientology books, I admit it. There was one called The Volunteer Minister's Handbook, which is long gone, but it had most of the basic techniques in. And I'd say you should read this and understand. You should also understand that your child, parent, grandparent, friend, third cousin has
Twice removed,
may well derive benefit from their involvement with this group. Now, it might not be because of what the group is getting them to do. It might just be belonging to a group that helps. It might be the relationships they find. But it's also very possible, particularly with pseudotherapy groups and with some pseudo-religious groups, that you'll have an experience that makes you feel better, allows you to get over something in your life. Such things can happen spontaneously anyway. And it's probably better to go to somebody who knows what they're doing rather than somebody who wants all your money and for you to work for them for 1,000 million years. That's quite a long time. But it's important to regard this person as a person who has the right to decide, the right to make choices, and to seek to create the best possible relationship you can with them. That is, be friendly. Treat them kindly. Don't give them money that they will and give away. But do make sure that they have clothes or, they're properly fed. Maintain your communication with them. I had an awful conversation not very long ago with a parent who was glad that their child was not going to have any children. They decided not to have any children because those children would grow up within, in fact, Scientology. And I kind of came away from that and went, well, yeah, but half the kids that grow up in it leave when they're 16. Quite a lot will leave after that. And to grow up in Scientology is not to become a brainwashed robot. There's this peculiar notion of zombies out there. It's very hard to shake. It's to grow up with some strange ideas in your environment. And, they can still be, those ideas can still be seen through, because the problem is, if you look back at the culture of humanity, if you said, well, it's better that nobody had children in the Middle Ages, in the Renaissance, or at any time
during Hitler people had
30 years war, none of the Germans, none of the Bolsheviks, that society as yet has not achieved perfection, and so it's important not to have such a dramatically negative view of these groups. Usually the people involved in such groups are well-meaning. They believe in what they're teaching. It's only the leadership who, and often they are cranks who don't really understand what they're talking about. They're desperately unhappy, or they have temporal lobe epilepsy or sociopathic, psychopathic disorder. They don't realise how ill they are, and so they still believe in what they're talking about. So how can we help? How can we do something about this? We maintain friendship. Find out as much as you can about the group, but don't argue about the group's principles. Have a person talk to you about what they believe, about what experiences they've had. And if they say, I gained this and I benefited in this way, then acknowledge that. That's great. That's really good. And I do have a set of questions. And the first is, what did you expect to achieve from the group or the relationship when you first became involved? What was your expectation? What have you achieved from the group or the relationship by being involved? What do you expect to achieve from the group or relationship by being involved? And what have you seen others achieve? And you are not really looking for them to give you an answer straight away. You're looking for them to think about those things as being essential. What was I promised? What did I get? Were there any strawberries in the strawberry jam?
That's what you're after.
Did I achieve supernatural powers? Well, that's because I interviewed a member of parliament here many years ago for a documentary that wasn't shown. And he said, well, it's fraud, isn't it? If you buy strawberry jam and there are no strawberries in it, then that's fraud. And he felt that would be the answer to all religious cult groups, that if they didn't have any strawberries in them, then it was a fraud.
Yeah.
If they didn't deliver what they promised, and they don't tend to. So you've got to think about what is, I think we all have to think about what is proper, decent human behaviour. And we have to behave in a proper, decent way. If you can get the person to come home, to sleep, to eat properly, to find themselves in a non-argumentative, non-antagonistic environment, then when the day comes where they are a bit worried about the awful things they've seen, and they will have seen people cleaning the floor with toothbrushes or what have you, they'll come to you. The problem I often found with long-term members was they had nowhere to go because everybody had become estranged from them. So those are some simple ideas. I'd also strongly recommend reading Stephen Hassan's Combating Cult Mind Control and his book Freedom of Mind. And beyond that, probably Margaret Singer and Janja Lelich's Cults in Our Midst. And Janja Lelich's books are really great too. Understand the topic, understand what it is you're dealing with, and act with kindness and concern if you can. And if you can't, well, you need to sort yourself out. And anything to add to that? Would you like to join a cult?
Maybe. I thought I already am. Oh no, I'm the leader.
Yeah,
of
you
one.
see.
That's different.
It's very different. The guy that makes the rules doesn't have to follow the rules, as Ron Hubbard once explained to us.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing would be, in my cult, I keep my promises. I will take all your money.
All of it.
All of it.
Actually, and everything you can borrow as well. And I won't give it back.
No.
And that's the sign of a true enlightened cult leader. I'm John Atack.
I'm Sam Atack.
I'm very grateful that you have shared your time with us. Thank you. Goodbye.